Early in the morning.
I try not to identify myself as BAME, instead British Indian, because that's what I am.
I refer to myself as black or black British.
Kurdish or British.
I'm a British Ghanaian.
From Romani Gypsy heritage.
I'm not a big fan of the term BAME.
To me, it just seems to kind of cement this idea of white and other.
I find it's sometimes more problematic than it is beneficial.
It's used as a catch-all for people who aren't actually black, Asian, or from a minority ethnicity.
I think what it does is it disguises the discrimination and disparities between the different ethnic groups.
For example, with the recent events in America and even police brutality in the UK, these aren't experiences that affect every member of the BAME community. I think it's a bit more useful to start, calling certain experiences, for example, anti-blackness, as a specific type of racism.
It has to be broken up, because when the question is black, the answer cannot be BAME.
It's too easy for corporations and for educational facilities to be able to just use the title BAME. It allows them to not have to invest too much in those different minorities.
Example of that would be, even in my tech experience, the number of all Asian founding teams that receive money is extremely higher than the number of all black founding teams.
So when leaders or politicians are asked about, are there black people within the cabinet or within their teams, they can't reply and say, yes, there are BAME people, there are Asian people, because the experiences and lives of black and Asian people are very different.
Call people what they want to be called. I would expect to be referred to as a Kurdish person because that's how I identify.
If you want to be identified as black, then black is what it is.
I identify as black. I'm a British Ghanaian, and I don't understand why I can't be described as black. We should be described and labelled how each individual sees it.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. You already know who it is. It's your boy Cam. Topical Juice. And I'm back again with a very, very intriguing video. Should we be grouping minorities under the name BAME? I hadn't thought about this. This is a new concept to me. This is a new kind of idea for me. I haven't really thought about it too much. And me, I'm a nerd. I'm a neek. You know what I'm saying? I love to learn. I love to think. I love to explore. I love to analyze. So my mum sent me an article this morning and told me, oh, what do you think about this? And it was an article about this discussion that I'm doing a video on. And I was like, rah. I said to my mum, I've never thought about that before. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let me read into it. So I spent the whole day reading into it. Well, that's an exaggeration. I spent some of the day reading into it, and I couldn't agree more. I don't believe we should be grouping minorities under this BAME title no more. And I'm gonna discuss why. So smash the thumbs up button if you are a wavy person. Subscribe if you are new, and hit the bell to be notified. So anyway, we all saw the video at the start of the video. And a lot of those people made some really good points. Really good points. Now, the main problem from my perspective, right, with the BAME title now, is the fact that BAME people, or black, Asian, minorities, whoever it is, we do not have the same life experiences, for one, okay? And two, people within the BAME community, a lot of them don't even like black people. That's crazy. The problem with grouping people together, the idea of BAME, it reinforces this idea of minorities being the other. I always felt like the other in school. If you were a minority in a heavily white school, for example, you felt like an other, 100%. You felt like the other, because the majority of people were white. So their experiences, their way of talking, their way of working, everything was kind of like made for them. And then if you were kind of a minority in school, you were different. Right, and you felt like an outcast because you were, really and truly. My life growing up, I have really felt like the other a lot of the time, 100%. So the issue you've got now is that it reinforces this idea that it's white people and other people. So you've got white people who are the main, kind of the main race or whatever, and then you've got BAME. So you've got white people and you've got black, Asian minorities and things like that. And the more I actually sit down and think about this, I really don't like that name, actually. I really don't. Not in this context anyway, just grouping us together, I really don't. There's a time and a place for BAME to be used, I'm going to talk about that. But in terms of like grouping us together like that, I really don't like it. I spoke to someone that I know in Miami, and I asked her opinion of this, and she turned around and said, I've never heard BAME before, we don't use that. We use POC, people of colour. That is even worse. In America, that's even worse. So you've got white people, and then you've got people of colour. Okay, last I checked, white was a colour. So now what? We really shouldn't be grouping people together because our experiences are very, very, very different. Okay, the black experience is not shared with the Asian experience. It's not shared with other minorities. It's really not. It's very, very different. Not only is our experiences different, our individuality is reduced, minimized, gone actually, eradicated, evaporated, whatever fancy word man can think of. Our identity and individualism is gone. We don't want to be hidden. We don't want to be unknown. We don't want to be grouped together. We are not an other. We are human. So we want to be seen for what we are. White people, don't be afraid to call someone black. That's what we are. Don't be afraid to call someone, a Chinese person, Chinese. That's what they are. It's not an insult to tell someone what they are, okay? I know a lot of white people do get a bit, obviously, because a lot of white people don't understand. So obviously, a lot of white people naturally will tread on eggshells because they don't know what's right to say and what's wrong to say. Listen, I can tell you what is not wrong to say. Calling someone black is not wrong, okay? We want to be seen. We are proud of our skin color. We are proud to be black. No matter what skin color I would be proud. See us for what we are. Call us black. That's what we are. That's our experience. You understand? The issue when you group people together as BAME, it just seems a bit lazy. I can't lie, it seems very lazy. It means that you don't have to really address individual issues that individual races suffer from individually. For example, everyone has a different experience in life. Everyone. I'm black, yeah, and I speak on behalf of black people. I use my platform to teach people about the black narrative. Not just white people, not just Indian people, not just Middle Eastern people, black people as well. Because a lot of black people are ignorant. So I use my platform and I speak on behalf of us, but I do not speak for us. Because I might have experienced racism that other black people might not have ever seen before, and vice versa. Because I'm light skinned, for example, I've enjoyed a privilege that maybe dark skinned people haven't enjoyed. Do you understand? So everyone's individual. So it's about time we see us as individuals and address our experiences as individuals. Because a black experience and a black experience at work or something like that is not a BAME experience. Something happening to an Asian in school is not a BAME experience. Because a BAME experience doesn't exist. Really and truly, it's not real. It just seems a bit lazy now I'm thinking about it. And you know what it was? White people came up with a term. So in the research or in one of the videos I saw, white people came up with the term BAME. Apparently. So if that's the case, it does seem extra lazy then. Because you have to understand, white people is not the default. White is not the default. And white people might be the majority in westernized world, but in the globe, in the overall world, white people are minorities. Did you know that? So if you've got a world where white people are the minority, why does it feel like the world just seems to be white and then other? And that's represented in schools, our education system, our judicial system. That's represented everywhere. Another big part about calling us BAME when we're not actually aligned, for example, is something quite ironic. White people, in my experience, seem to believe that BAME or minorities are all kind of together like a team, and it's kind of like white versus us. That's not true. That's not true in the slightest, because people within the BAME community don't even like black people. It's crazy. You've grouped minorities together, and within that minority group, we all don't get along, you know. It's not like we're all friends and it's against white people. It's not like that. Yeah, we're all individuals, we're all human. Every race is a different human. Every race experiences a different experience, obviously. I'll give you a prime example, right? One of my best friends, years ago, when her nan falsely believed that me and her were together, like boyfriend and girlfriend, she wasn't happy. Because I'm me. Doesn't even know who I am, doesn't know anything about me, but was unhappy because of the colour of my skin. And this person comes from an Indian family. But then when I went to Shanghai, and when I was in China, and I was in and around different, I think is that East Asia? China's East Asia, innit? My geography's not that good in it, so don't hold me to that. But I think is China East Asia? Or is it what? Oh no, that's like Thailand and that. East Asia. Listen, either way here, when I was in China, they were taking pictures of me. The feeling I got is it wasn't like a racist thing. It was more like a intrigue thing. We've seen your kind on TV, but I've never seen you in real life. So people were coming up to me and taking pictures of me. Obviously, the ones that asked to take pictures of me, I was calm, like, yeah, go and take pictures. Like, our man was just, you know what I'm saying? Taking the opposing that. But some of them were actually just going up to man and just taking pictures. I didn't like that at all. You can get your camera slapped at your hand for that, because I'm not an animal. This ain't a zoo, you get me? So if you ask to take pictures and you're intrigued, then cool, I got you. But that's the difference. So even within the Asia, within the A in BAME, you've got two different reactions to black people. One of them doesn't know me and doesn't like me, and one of them doesn't know me and is intrigued by me. Do you understand? So the time and a place for BAME, like, I don't mind when it comes to like administration. So like, if it's like you're selecting your ethnicity on like a job application and it's BAME, then fine. Sorry, not BAME as in like, I wouldn't click BAME, but if it's like, I don't know, if it says BAME and then it scroll down and it says black, cool. Do you know what I'm saying? But the more and more I think about this, I actually don't like the term at all. And POC, people of color, that's even worse. Honestly, that's horrible. Because at the end of the day, we're not colored. We don't change color. Like, we're just brown. Do you understand? Or you're just white, or someone else is just a different color, lighter shade of white or darker shade of, do you know what I'm saying? Returning back to experiences, like for example, Asian people have certain privileges that black people don't enjoy. Americans gave Japanese people reparations for how they treated Japanese soldiers during World War II. They gave them reparations. You know, black people have been waiting 400 years for reparations of slavery. 40 acres and a mule. Have you ever heard of that saying? 40 acres and a mule. That's what we were promised. It's in the Kanye West song. What's that Kanye West lyric in All Falls Down? We're trying to buy back our 40 acres. That song came out like 15 years ago. 16 years ago that song came back. That came out, that album. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be grouping people together based on the fact that we're not white. No. This is not a white world anymore. Like, we actually have to start, well, it is a white world, but we need to start disbanding that. This is no longer a white world. Let's actually make us equal. Yeah, our experiences are valued. Our experiences are precious. There's nothing more frustrating than you living something, experiencing something, and then someone telling you, like downplaying it, undermining it. Like, no. Yeah, we have literally lived a very, very difficult and different life as individuals. So actually, don't be afraid to ask about the black experience. Don't be afraid to ask about your Thai friend's Thai experience. That's what we are. We're not all Chinese, Asian, black, and, do you know what I'm saying? I got nothing to do with Asia. I don't, do you know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about that experience. It's time that we start addressing our experiences as individuals. You see me? I think that's a very intriguing topic, actually. I'm glad I did this video, if I do say so myself. It's given me something different to think about, and it's something I need to push and start educating people on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there. Hit the thumbs up. Like the video, which is the thumbs up, subscribe and all of that, and see you soon. Yo, me again. Forgot to mention a good point. I actually used to be signed to a modelling agency called BAME, actually. So, and I was just thinking about, am I a hypocrite actually for saying that I don't like BAME, but being signed to a modelling agency, or was being signed to a modelling agency, blah, blah, blah. And actually, that's probably a time where the use of BAME isn't too bad, because it's a modelling agency basically dedicated to that specific demographic. So I don't mind that as much, but grouping people, actually viewing minorities as BAME people, yeah, I'm not too sure I feel that as much. But yeah, anyway, peace.